I'm going underneath for my claw. Okay? And then I'm going to drive him over with my spurs. These are my spurs right here. And I'm trying to hang on to him right here. I can actually lock my hand.
Coach John Chacho has been a wrestling institution in the town of Westport, dedicating the last 50 years coaching grapplers at every level, from developmental to the successful PAL program, which he started, to the junior high school and middle school teams he coached, right up to the Staples High School team that he guided to the 1985 FCAC championship. John was quite the high school athlete himself. In 1955, as a member of the Roger Ludlow track team, which placed first in the state of Connecticut, John was second in the state in the 180 low hurdles and went on to place fifth in the New England Championships. John's personal bests were 10-1 for the 100-yard dash, 21-6 for the 220, and he was part of the record-setting 880-yard relay, which ran an incredible 133.6. Right out of high school, John joined the Marines, serving from 1955 to 1959. John served in the 155 Howitzer Battalion. He was in the Marine Corps Max 3 outfit, stationed in Iwakuni, Japan. He also served in Okinawa and the Philippines, and he was honorably discharged as a sergeant in 1959. Once stateside, John went to college, and in his junior year, on December 29, 1962, he married Lucille. And John and Lucille had two wonderful children, Stephen and Susan. In 1963, John's association with Westport Public Schools would begin. He was a student teacher, and his advisor, Chuck Smith, had this idea to start a wrestling club. From that kernel of an idea, a legend began. One that 50 years later would inspire Nick Garofalo, Mike Breen, and Andy Lobson to set in motion tonight's induction into the Connecticut Wrestling Hall of Fame. Here's Nick to talk about it.
Well, I nominated John because he's really committed his whole life to getting young men interested in wrestling and promoting wrestling and helping wrestling grow in Westport, Connecticut, and wherever he's worked. John used to bring kids to tournaments in the off season. We used to go up to Enfield, Connecticut, and he would bring 20 of the best wrestlers from Westport up there, and at least 10 of us would make it into the finals. And, he's just been a great asset to Westport wrestling and to Connecticut wrestling, and I just recommend him very highly for the Hall of Fame.
Over a period of time and John's vision, the town-wide Westport wrestling program grew. John believed that in order to be successful at the sport of wrestling, the seed had to be planted early to develop sound techniques, good fitness habits, and a love of the sport. He started youth programs throughout many middle schools, like Fairfield Country Day, Greens Farm Academy, Bedford, and Coleytown, but also the YMCA, Parks and Rec, and PAL. John's insight and work to start kids off young paid great dividends once those kids got into high school. One great example of that is Mike Breen, who started with John in third grade and went on to become the 3-time Connecticut Double L champion and 3-time Connecticut Open champion.
I attribute my 3 state open championships to you. You have been my wrestling coach since I was 6 years old. I wrestled in your youth programs. Then I was lucky enough to be of similar age as your son Steve, and as you moved up with him in your coaching career to Bedford Junior High and then Staples High School, I was able to benefit as having you as my coach. I can still remember all the times you picked me up early in the morning in your VW Beetle to bring me to tournaments and practices. I thank you very much for caring for me as a person as well as a young wrestler. You taught me not only the moves I used, but how to win and lose like a man, and you are a great role model. I think of you all the time and all the countless hours that you've spent with me and hundreds of other kids, and it inspired me to give back to the sport I love in the form of coaching. I only hope that I can be half the role model to a young man that you have been to me.
Mike isn't the only former wrestler who went into coaching. Andy Lobson also started in third grade, and he was a big reason that the Staples team won the 1985 FCAC championship. He's also giving back by coaching in the Fairfield PAL program today.
So Coach Chacho actually was my coach from when I was 9 or 10 years old. I want to say 9 years old to until I was 18, and he really got me into wrestling. I'd have to say I've had a lot of coaches in sports throughout my career, both in wrestling and outside of wrestling, and he was by far the most impactful coach that I had. He's produced some incredible wrestlers in the state of Connecticut over the years, and he's touched the lives of literally, I'd say, thousands of wrestlers in the state. But I think what he did best, he taught great technique. He got people into great physical condition. But the thing he did best was he made people love the sport, and he made me love the sport. And I, from the age of 9 years old up until present day, I can think of really nothing else that I'd like to do more than wrestle.
After starting youth programs, winning championships, and being an inspirational coach to countless young men, Coach John Chacho retired. Now, retiring may conjure up certain images for you, but for Coach, retiring meant that for the last 15 years, he would be bringing that same enthusiasm, that same spirit of fun to the next generation. He's worked in innovative ways to help preschoolers develop their fine motor skills at Children's Community Daycare. Here's their director, Eileen Ward.
Thanks to him, we have had hours of fun, the adults as much as the children. Coach John is a master of creativity. Find a good pop song, and they coordinate their movements at his unique direction. I've been working in the field of early childhood education for 32 years and could not think of a better example of someone who knows how to teach children the skills they need to participate and, more importantly, the joy they deserve to feel as they learn. He's like a rock star here. When he's around, you'll hear children passing through the gym on their way to their classroom, and they'll shout, "Hey, Mommy, there's Coach John." Coach John Chacho has the biggest heart of anyone I know. Even when it was broken after his son died so suddenly and tragically, he has continued to bring joy to others. We decided to name our gym the Chacho Family Gymnasium in honor of the family that he loves and the years of laughter and good times that he has brought to our lives. There's no one like him. I am honored to salute him for all that he has done to improve the lives of those who have had the good fortune of being in his presence. From the bottom of my heart, God bless you.
Add it all up, and it's easy to see why this coach is receiving tonight's Lifetime Achievement Award with this induction into the Connecticut chapter of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. There's going to be a plaque, and there's going to be a Hall of Fame jacket that John will proudly wear. But perhaps the biggest tribute of all that's been paid to John is all of you out there, all you wrestlers, all you family members, and all you friends in attendance, to honor this great man who's coached and inspired all of you.